Hey guys, Trevor with Shadow Systems. It's Tech Tuesday. We have Quinn Cunningham. Quinn's a competitive shooter on the Shadow team, and he's going to help me today with something that I have been faking for a very long time. So I'm not actually a dot shooter. Quinn is very much a dot shooter. I'm an iron sights guy. So usually when I'm shooting a dot, I wouldn't say there's a whole lot behind it in terms of dot skill. Quinn has that. He's going to show me some techniques to help an iron sight shooter like me convert properly to shooting a dot. All right, so what are we going to do?
So what's the biggest thing when it comes to shooting the dot on the draw?
Definitely finding the dot.
Finding the dot. So we're going to work on that first.
Okay, cool. Finding the
so
dot.
What I want you to do is go ahead and draw.
Okay.
And while you're drawing, you're going to find your sights and watch the dot appear. Okay.
Yeah, if I use my front sight, I can get the dot to come down from the top. Is that what I want?
So I track the sights, the front sight comes into the rear sight, and the dot appears.
That's correct. So is that how we should be trying to do this?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Now what I want you to do is go ahead and holster. Now without paying any attention to those sights, draw, stay where you're at.
Okay.
Where is the dot?
I don't know. I don't even see it.
Okay. Bring
There it is. It's on the top.
Okay.
I found
so
it.
It was high. All right.
It was
Typically,
high.
People are high. For me, I'm usually high right. It kind of depends on you and your nomenclature.
All right.
So for you, it's going to be
It's high.
It's high. So you can do some drills, shot before the dot. I come out to full extension. I break the shot and see where they track on target. That's
Okay.
going to be some of your homework as well as the dry fire.
Okay, cool.
Okay?
So I'm going to try to use my front sight though. And actually, if I think about the front sight for a split second on the way out, I can pick up the dot every time.
Okay.
So maybe that's it. So maybe for an iron sight shooter, you think about the front sight a little bit on the way out, and it'll help you find the dot.
Right. Next, one of the things that we see a lot is people think. They think they're target focused, and they actually aren't. And one of the things that we see typically is if people are focusing on the dot, when they're shooting, their head tunnels in, which is a telltale sign that they're actually focusing on the dot and not the target itself. So I'm going to take a paster and I'm going to occlude that front lens.
If you've never shot occluded, even in like a rifle sight, like a red dot on an AR, it's crazy. You can totally still shoot and see the target. Okay, so we're going to do that. So I'm going to do some draws like this. Put this round back in here. Do I get to shoot this time?
Yeah. Would you like to shoot?
I do. I want to shoot like this. Prove you can do it.
All right. So what you do is go ahead and draw and give me 6 rounds.
Okay.
Actually, first, let's draw and see what it looks like.
Okay?
Go.
I'm in there.
All right. Cool. All right, 6 rounds. Stand by. Timer is off.
Turn the timer on.
I'm going to turn the timer on. Okay. Stand by. Okay.
I missed my first shot.
Why?
Because I didn't actually have the dot, probably.
Okay, so he didn't see the dot. Was it high?
That was off to the left.
It was off to the left, okay? That's probably a grip issue.
All right,
Let's
here we
do
go.
it again. Are you ready?
Yep.
Stand by. Nice.
That felt right.
Yep. 220.
Yeah, and I did find that my grip, by changing my grip, I could kind of change how the dot tracks. Is that normal?
Yes. Yes. So the good thing about the dot is, like we talked about on the other video, is in real time you can diagnose your shooting. So great segue. That's what we're going to work on now.
Okay. All right.
So dot behavior, while he's working on that, dot behavior before ignition is typically caused with our trigger press. If it streaks left for a right-handed shooter, you're probably diving your finger in, the dot goes, and then it goes up, okay? When you have an inconsistent grip, during recoil, the return and the rise and return of the dot is caused from your grip. Now, if you're an anticipator for a right-handed shooter, it's going to be a backwards J. So the dot's going to go down and up. So that's the anticipation.
So that was a lot. I think what I heard though was if the dot's moving on before ignition, I got to think about trigger more. If the dot is moving post ignition, I got to think about grip more.
Yep.
All right. And I think for me, it's probably more grip.
Grip.
I'm
Okay.
going to shoot. Let's shoot 6 more. What was my time on that?
Your time was 220.
220. So I think for this, we want to get under 2, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So under 2 at 7 yards, A-zone hits from the draw is usually the goal. All right. Let's try it with the dot. My occluded dot.
All right. Stand by.
Ah! All right, last one, last question. I had trigger freeze. What is that?
Okay, that's typically caused from your grip.
Yes. So if your finger gets stuck shooting fast, you're squeezing the gun too hard with your firing
With
hand.
this hand, okay? I typically, while you're reloading, I typically smash as hard as I can with my my support side hand, which controls the recoil, and then my strong side hand controls
All right,
the
last
trigger.
one. I'm going to smash it with my left hand.
Okay, stand by.
That felt great.
211.
211, almost there. All right, folks. I hope that was a helpful intro. I definitely learned something when Quinn was talking about finding the dot. Try the occluded sight thing. You may discover that you're able to kind of focus on the dot in isolation, not focus on the dot. Understand what the dot is doing in isolation, right?
Right.
And then if you shoot that way, I don't know, I found it to be pretty eye-opening. So that's what we got for this week. Good luck, iron sight shooters. I'm not convinced yet, but we'll keep trying, and we'll see you next Tuesday.